Hey guys, it's M4J here, and welcome back to the Steamage career here on Football Manager 2018. We are playing our last game of the season, except it's not our last game of the season. We are playing our last league match of the season. We are in the playoffs. We cannot be caught by Luton, who are just sat outside the playoffs. At one point they were right behind us, so it's kind of a sweet victory that we get in the playoffs, and they don't. If you don't know the history between Steamage and Luton, I strongly suggest you look it up. It is a bitter rivalry, to say the least. To be honest, a lot of the teams around Steamage, there are bitter rivalries. There's a lot of teams around Steamage that we get on quite well with as well. So that thuggish nature that they used to have a reputation for is probably as far from the truth as you could possibly imagine. But anyway, Luton aren't in the playoffs and we are, so heh. Joke's on you, Luton. Although, that being said, they can still creep into the playoffs if they win their game, but we shouldn't play them. We should be playing Rotherham in the playoffs. I think that's right. Yeah, we should be playing Rotherham in the playoffs. So this game is basically academic. However, I'm not going to play a reserve team. I am going to play the full strength team as per usual, so that we can hit the ground running when it comes to the important matches in the next episode. So today our lineup is as follows: Fryer in goal, Jones at right back, Segura and Bellick at centre back, Kenlock at left back. Mason is still not quite fully fit. He will probably be back for the next episode though. Delph and De Silva across midfield. They've built up a really good partnership between the two of them. Delph's actually been keeping Longstaff out of the team. That's how well he's been playing. And then Samuel and Barmby across the attacking line, and then Felivi and Feruz up front. Bench is Ashton, Phillips, Noyle, Longstaff, Bjordal, Hancock and Godden. Let's play some football. We'll get straight into this. I think I've got to put it back on key highlights. I might actually put it on extended highlights for this game, since we are only playing the one match. Oh, it is already on extended highlights. Well, there you go. Apparently I'm better at preparing than I thought. We're away from home. Would have been nice to have finished the season at home, but you know, it's not the end of the world. That was a bit of a nothing ball over the top, although I've said that in the past, and then Segura doesn't exist. Segura has played a ball over the top, Felivi's run onto it, and we've ended up scoring from it. So I can see why he's still doing it. There's a real partnership building up in the team as well. Feruz and Felivi are really starting to understand each other. Barmby and Samuel have always understood each other. But across the back line as well, Segura and Bellick have built up a really good partnership. One attacks whilst the other covers. It's exactly what you want from a centre-back pairing. And of course the two in midfield as well, Delph and De Silva, are doing a very, very good job also, with one always attacking whilst the other holds back. And it does alternate. I would have thought that it would just be one or the other, but... sorry, I would have thought it would just be one, Delph running forward because he's the box-to-box, whereas De Silva is more of the playmaker. But no, they do take it in turns to bomb forward, which is always nice to see. And hopefully, with the promotion, despite the fact that the player ratings will drop, as they always do when you get promoted, we should still have a pretty good squad for next season. I haven't made any signings between last episode and this. I did look at the possibility of signing a couple of players, one of which wanted too much in wages. Apparently my English isn't improved, even though my video preparation has. One wanted too much in wages. There's just no way I'm paying that amount. I mean, we've still got the Bjordal problem, in that he has to match the highest earner. I'm really regretting putting that in his contract now. And I think the other, they wanted too much in way of a transfer fee. So at the moment, I'm not bothering too much about transfers. I want to get my business done early if I can. But I think what I have to do now is, if we get into the playoffs, wait and see whether we get promoted or not. And then once you get promoted, or if you stay in the same league and it goes into the new season, so you go through like the player score window and things like that. If we have been promoted, then we should be able to attract better players, because we will be playing in the Championship, and the game acknowledges that we'll be playing in the Championship. If we're still in League 1, then, you know, same thing. At least we're certain of what league we're in, so we can sign players that match the caliber of the league we're playing in. One thing I did do off camera was scout the top 6 teams in the league at the time that I decided to do the scouting, which I think was about 2 in-game months ago. So it was teams like Cardiff, Fleetwood, Ipswich. I actually missed that goal. I was too busy looking at the league table then. I think Barmby just tackled the goalkeeper. If it's what I think happened, he's done that a couple of times in this career. This would be the first one that I've actually caught on recording, though. Yeah, no, he's actually done that 3 or 4 times in the past. So it's nice to see that I've finally captured one. That's always good. 1-0 up. Nice. So yeah, it was teams like Cardiff, Fleetwood, Ipswich, I think Swindon, and maybe Rotherham was the other team. I'm trying to remember now. And I also scouted the teams at the bottom of the table that looked like they were going down, so I could try and poach their best players maybe for next season. I've got a bit of a rebuilding job to do. So we've already got the right back coming in Marshall. We've got the new striker in Payne. And I think next on the list would be the attacking left midfielder, like I said in the last episode. They were the 2 that I tried to sign off camera. As I say, the deals didn't happen for various reasons. I'd also like to bring in another goalkeeper, not on loan. An actual goalkeeper. We have got Ashton, who is developing, sort of. He's 1.5 star now. He was a star when he made his debut, so he has improved. Perhaps a little too much of a risk, though, because if Fry gets injured, do you really want a 1.5 star goalkeeper playing in goal? You probably don't. So maybe bring in like a 2-star keeper just to play as a reserve keeper, and then have Ashton continue his development in the youth team. Because I think he's only just turned 17 in the game, so he's not quite a Hancock level yet, which is the other predicament. Do I loan out Hancock next season, or do I keep him in and around the team? If we get promoted, I think I'll loan him out, because he's more likely to get game time, score goals, and continue his development. If we don't get promoted and we stay in League 1, then he's a very good squad player to actually have hanging around, because he's still scored. I think this season is actually his highest scoring season, because as you know, he started the season up front. He's been forced out a little bit in the second half of the season by Feruz and Falevi, but I reckon him and Falevi up front can still bang the goals in. So I'll look into that. As I say, he's a very good player to have around. Ah, it's a brilliant finish. Falevi's a fantastic player. He's just like Menezes last season. Took a little bit of time to get going, but once he did get going, he's just continued scoring, 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 and scoring. I think that's his 23rd goal of the season, and which, considering most of them were scored in the second half of the season, as I've already said, that's a pretty spectacular return. So if we can get the 2 of them in on loan next season, Falevi and Menezes, we should be laughing. We should be laughing. Although I feel a little bit for Feruz in that scenario, but hey ho. Speaking of Feruz, he's just been subbed off for Longstaff. So we've got the 3 midfielders out there now. I think we've gone to the 4-2-3-1 formation. I don't remember setting that up actually when we're 2 goals up to go to 4-2-3-1. But there you go. The actual annoyance, I have another gripe about match plans. So in the last league game that I played, Barmby got injured. He had a pulled groin. As you can see, he's fine now, but during that game he was a bit of a passenger. So I didn't make the substitution because I didn't want to mess up the match plans. I let the game play out. And then we changed formation twice and made 2 substitutions to adapt to that new formation. Neither of those substitutions involved taking Barmby off. We actually brought Bjordal on for Samuel, which I thought was a bit odd. Surely Bjordal could have come on as a left winger, and we could have taken Barmby off, but that's not what happened. So it's a little bit weird why it decided to do it that way. You'd think it would prioritise injured players. It certainly seems to prioritise players with lower ratings. But there you go. I'm not going to complain too much. I'm sure it's something that they'll fix for FM 2019. Although I probably should leave feedback, otherwise they won't know to change it, will they? That's one of my biggest idiocies, I suppose, is I moan about something, but then I never actually say it to the people that can fix it, so it never gets fixed. I need to learn to do that. Anyway, De Silva, free kick over the bar. I've really enjoyed the second half of this season. I hated the first half. Like, the first 2 or 3 games were okay, because we didn't know how bad it was going to be at that point, but that run of defeats is probably the worst moment in an FM career for me. I really, really struggled to get through that. Whereas now, I'm really enjoying it again. We've just made a double sub. So we brought Longstaff on for Farouz, and we've just taken him off again and brought on Godden. That's another thing about the match plan. It's because it's for 10 minutes after scoring a goal, switch to this formation. So we made the substitution to switch to it, even though Farouz can play as the attacking midfielder. Now that those 10 minutes are up and we've gone back to 2 up front, it's realised Longstaff can't play up front, so it's brought him off and brought the striker back on. Should have brought Hancock on if we're going to take Farouz off. Or we could have just switched Farouz into the attacking midfield role. I don't understand it. It was new this year, so always got to bear that in mind as well. It was a new feature, it's being tested. Until they properly stress test it in a gameplay environment like this is, they're never going to fully know what's wrong with it. So they'll take that on board and fix it for next year. It's a bit like last year they brought in sports scientists and data analysts that didn't actually do anything, whereas this year they've been assigned roles and are actually, I mean, sports scientists I still haven't quite got my head around what they're for, apart from they tell you which players are likely to get injured. They don't actually do anything to stop them getting injured. Data analysts are a lot better because they do analyse your performances in matches and tell you what you did good and what you did bad. So that's a nice feature. It took 2 years to fully implement it, but considering they're on a 12-month turnaround each year, that's not necessarily a bad thing. If they bring in a feature that's not quite finished and then the next year they improve it and make it work really, really well, then, you know, that's all you can ask for, really. It doesn't affect, like the fact that the data analyst didn't work last year didn't actually affect the gameplay. It didn't make the game worse or anything like that. So yeah, I'm not against that idea. I think it's quite smart. It's better than not implementing something fully until it's finished and then it just doesn't work the way players want it to, because then you lose your audience. So it's kind of good that they bring it in, they get feedback, and then they implement it. I should probably talk about what's going on the screen. They've had a player sent off. Is that Flynn Downs sent off? Straight red. I didn't see the challenge, so I don't know whether it's justified or not. We've got a corner now, which Barmby's taking. Hang on, Barmby's left-footed. I thought Barmby was right-footed. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. He just fired one across goal there, though. It's gone out for a throw-in. Not the best. Not the best. I reserve my judgment on Barmby because I did say earlier on in the season that he was going to struggle, and he's actually been one of our best players in the second half of this season. He was partly responsible for the turnaround. Him and Samuel, to be fair, because they both had really bad starts. And during the low run, at one point Barmby was dropped and Bjordal came in, and I think Samuel was dropped for Giorgio. And they kind of, those two wingers would then swap, Giorgio and Bjordal, which wings they played on. And then with the formation change, they just came into their element again. Samuel's been a little bit quieter this second half than perhaps Barmby has, but the two of them together have just made the attack so much more potent for our team. They really have supplied the two strikers. Oof, I thought that was going in then. Is that O'Toole still plays for Northampton on here? Crikey. What are we, 4 years in the future? 3-4 years in the future? So he must be well into his 30s by now. I'll have a look at that, actually. I'm looking to bring in some experienced players for next season. I'd like to bring in some experienced championship players for next season. I actually brought in Steve Morrison on trial to bring him in as... because I tried to sign him, first of all. Just sign him outright. And he wanted to be a player under 18s manager, like a joint combination. And I had a look at his staff stats and they weren't very good. So I brought him in on trial to see if I could just bring him in as a player for a season with championship experience, and then get him his coaching badges and see if he'll join the under 18 side then. And he accepted the trial offer and he came in, and I think he was like 1.5 star, which is not very good. Despite the fact that his stats are still quite good, his rating isn't. And it's a matter of which do you believe, because as I've said in the past, don't always judge by stars, because, you know, coaches and scouts can get it wrong. In many respects they can get it wrong. But I don't know, 1.5 star, just it still feels a little bit too low for me. And his stats are only ever going to get lower from here on. So we could sign him, get promoted, and he ends up just not playing. It'll just be a waste of his talent. He could go off and do a job elsewhere and, you know, still do really, really well. So I'm not going to steal a year of his life away from him. And it is also a bit of a risk in case he doesn't turn out to be that great a coach. You don't want to be wasting all your money. Particularly as we are working to a budget at the moment. The board twice have injected money to help with operating costs. I would like to try and sell a player for big money during the closed window. It's just a question of who. Because I get quite selfish. I want to sell a player for lots of money, but then at the same time I don't want to lose the player. So maybe sell someone and loan them back for the season? I don't know. We'll see about that. It certainly won't be Samuel or Barmby that gets sold. Oh, it's beautiful. Matt Godden, who's also scored a lot of goals this season, to be fair. Despite the fact he's barely played, he does still come up with the goals. His contract's up at the end of the season. I'm really tempted to renew it. He played a key part. Passed it back to Delph and just watch him run. Ball comes over to Samuel, into De Silva, and he's just legging it at the back post. Beautiful. It's exactly what you want from a centre forward. Well, there you go. We've changed formation again. So we're 3-0 up now, so we should be going... Oh, there you go. Hancock's just come on for Levy. That's another strange substitution. Normally, Jones gets brought off at this point and Noyle comes on. Normally that's because Jones is fatigued. He's actually doing okay today, and he's playing with a good rating too. Our worst rated player is Samuel, who's only playing a 6.8. That's pretty good. When your worst player is playing a 6.8, that's pretty damn good. It's nice to see Hancock and Godden playing up front together again. Oh, Josh. That's a poor shot. Is it Josh De Silva? It is Josh De Silva, isn't it? Yeah. Because I suddenly said Josh and thought, hang on, that's Hancock's name as well. But yeah, no, they're both called Josh. Alright, ball in behind. Roberts with the shot. High and wide. He might be someone worth looking at signing. Northampton aren't getting promoted. I'm basically going to take a look at the player stats list, so the best of. Have a look at the assist leaders and see if there's anyone on there that I could bring in. Hopefully on a small transfer fee, if not a free transfer. No, we've controlled this game quite nicely. I've been quite impressed. Shame about the substitutions, but it's kind of out of my hands. Oh, there you go. I thought they might sneak one at the end. Roberts has been making lots of runs in behind like that. Was this Kenlock's fault? He didn't really jump for it there, did he? Is that Jordan Rhodes playing for them as well? He might be one to look at. That could be an interesting signing. Oh, there you go. Now we switch to the 4-2-3-1, and Hancock's playing as the attacking midfielder. I don't know. I just don't know. They'll fix it. That's what I keep telling myself. They'll fix it. They'll make it work. Alright, Delph out wide to Kenlock. Back inside to Delph. Forward to Hancock. He's tackled. Oh dear. Kenlock gets it back. He's hesitating. Alright, plays it down the line. Barmby won't get there. He could have perhaps followed the defender at least though and tried to win it back. Alright, Rhodes finds... was that... oh, Tool. McWilliams to Rhodes. Shot from Roberts. Blocked. Second shot over the bar. Come on, we got a minute and a bit plus injury time. Let's try not to concede again. Alright, De Silva into Delph. Hancock. Plays it safe to Kenlock. Into Delph. Back to De Silva. Forward to Hancock. This is a nice build-up play. Lays it through for Godden. Not a bad effort, but straight down the keeper's throat, really. You never know, with a small deflection, that could have gone past him. Alright, 4 minutes of injury time. And then we're done for this season. Just got the playoffs to go, which hopefully will be an extra 2 episodes of this season. I probably won't do a season review like I did last time. I think I talked too much about stats and stuff. I might save that for a future career where we focus on analytics and stuff like that, and actually build a team based on stats and not just on reputation, if that makes sense. Like a proper Moneyball principle. Is this going to be another red card? Godden was technically through on goal there, and he was pulled back on the edge of the box. So let's see. Yellow. That's fair enough, I suppose. I mean, it wasn't a clear goal scoring opportunity. Right, 4-2-3-1 DM we've switched to. Hancock over the free kick. Oh, he doesn't even get to take it. He was literally about to kick the ball and the referee blows the whistle. Well, I'm not too disappointed by the fact we didn't get to take the free kick. I am a little bit disappointed that we did concede a goal. That was... It always annoys me when we concede a goal, but yeah, that one was a bit unnecessary. Cardiff have won the league. Congratulations to them. They've done the double. What was the other trophy they won? Oh yeah, the 6-1 victory against us. Wasn't a good game, that one. Doesn't say what the double was, does it? History, competitions. Well, it wasn't the checker trade, because we won that. So League 1. Huh? Maybe it's not been registered yet. What year are we in now? 2021. Well, they won the under-18s division. That surely doesn't count as doing the double. Surely not. Is there anything else that's got 2021? That's 1921. I don't know what they've won. What have they won? Landmarks? They had a takeover bid, failed. Promotion, champions. Yeah, I don't know what else they've won this season, but they've done some kind of double. So congratulations to them. As I already said, we won. Congratulations to us. Swindon are also in the playoffs. Alright, so we will be playing Rotherham over 2 legs next episode. We finished 4 points ahead of them. We finished 7 points ahead of Swindon. So we did well in the end. We actually finished about where I thought we would finish. He was superb in front of goal. Okay, so we're playing Rotherham. When did we play them last? There, we beat them 2-1. Before that, there we drew 2-2. Okay, so we are probably the favourites then to win that game, or to win those games, to win the tie. That's the right word. But you're gonna have to wait till next episode to find out, guys. So until then, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and of course if you're enjoying the series, drop some comments down below with ideas for tactics, signings, and staff additions. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, be sure to click the subscribe button. If you have already subscribed to the channel, thank you guys for your continued support. And until next time, I will see you soon.